to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America. It's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Night.
All right. And then, who's that? McConaughey? Is that who says that? Hey, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Night on the internet. Welcome back to the P-Dog Night channel. Lots of faces in here, plus a new subscriber. Welcome, Lewis. Welcome to the shit show. It is, what's today? Thursday? Oh, yeah, FTG. There's some. You can just kind of make them up as you go. It's FTG Thursday. For those who don't know what that is, well, somebody in the chat, tell them if they ask. Ask somebody in the chat. They'll tell you. Anyway, Thursday, the 5th of December, 2024, 20 more days until Christmas. Yeah, a Merry Christmas, baby. I don't know the other rest of the song. It's that Elvis song, you know. We were talking about Elvis the other day. Anyway, lots to get into today, and especially we're going to talk about the happenings at the Supreme Court yesterday, where a big law in Tennessee about gender affirming care is on the docket. They were having arguments yesterday. We're going to get to that because that's kind of the big story yesterday. And then just some other odds and ends that are trending here and there. Well, quite a few. So before we do that, we will say hello. By the way, welcome, Lewis, if you're here. If I don't know, it says you subscribe, so we'll see. But let's say hi to everybody and get this show on the road. By the way, before you do, if you do me a favor, hit that link up at the top. If you're on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, and drop a "Let's Go" in the reply to that particular tweet, post, whatever. I still call them tweets. And because I want to see if we can get a lot of people doing that just on the regular. And some of you already do. Thank you, by the way, already. People who've already shared the show. Here we go. Somnambule Nation. Thank you very much. Maddie, Simon Wilkins, Mr. X51 got a retweet and a let's go. And then Somnambule Nation with this, proceed, kind of a let's go kind of thing. And Green Badger Outdoors with whatever the flying fig that is. Now, I know isn't that one of those things from Sesame Street? It's one of those one of those puppets. And I guess it never really realized how ugly those puppets are. So anyway, also, Lip Salty Tears also retweeted the show. I appreciate that. So let's get into the show because there's a lot to talk about today. By the way, let's say hi to everybody. I'm gonna get rid of that link in a minute. I'm gonna get rid of that link very shortly. So if you're gonna do that, you should do it right now. Right now. Hey, tomorrow. And Mike Savage, thank you, Blarg. Okay, first in the chat today is, by the way, Somnambule Nation gets the bell. Oh, you got two and a horn. Also, good morning, Avocados Diabli. Oh, dude, you got the theme song. Oh, and good morning, Maddie. Nice to have you here nice and early. I'm the House of Geek. Good morning, Kara Soldier, Mike Savage, Blarg, Lord Stanhope's here. Good morning also to Tyler F., bright and early. Simon Wilkins, Amazing Disgrace is in the house, and Attack Alpaca. And who else is here? Renee Mayette, good morning, my friend. Frankie Deller's in the house. Anon, 1, 2, 3, is here. Also, Johnny Boomer Tech doing the work of welcoming our guests. And let's see, anybody else that I missed? Frankie Deller, I said, and that's it. Oh, Willie won't leave the show because we can't push Willie out. We don't want Willie to go. Is that better? I've been trying. And on the honorable mention list of favorite Canadians, special can acids here. So there you go. Oh, Canada. So people rolling in slowly. I'm glad you are here. 24 people, 12 likes. Fix that ratio. Let's get that up to, can we get that up to 23 likes? I mean, there's 25 people. See if we can get that up to 23 likes. Just that'd be the almost 99%. That's what we want to do every day. 99%. Like a 999. Remember Herman Cain? 999. I liked that idea, by the way, the Herman Cain plan. Flat tax 9%, 9% sales tax, and 9% whatever. Although you could get rid of the income tax and just make it all a consumption tax. There's a lot of things that they're talking about maybe changing as far as the tax system goes, and I'm all for it because our tax system is just a pain in the ass. It sucks. It's cumbersome, and you could simplify it. You could knock down the IRS to about an office in a strip mall in Hoboken, New Jersey, and by just doing a flat tax, you wouldn't need all these auditors. Well, actually, I suppose the businesses would have to figure out. You'd still need accountants because accountants would still have to figure out how much your business made. So yeah, let's go flat tax. I'm gonna say it. And we have our first sponsor of the day. That would be Avocados Diablo, who gets another bell. Thank you for sponsoring the show. And by the way, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Avocados Diablo says, quick question. Why does that sign on your thumbnail say, "Let trans kids bloom," have a giant rainbow butthole on it? Okay, let me see if I can find that picture that you're talking about here. Let's trans kids bloom. Which I can't remember which article that's in. Hang on a second. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is one interpretation. Here it is. Here's the picture. Oh wait, that's not it. There, let's try that. There, click the right button. Right there. Okay, hang on a second. I want to see. Let me see if I can make that. It's not working. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Is that? Oh, AD, what is wrong with you? Let Trans Kids Bloom has a giant rainbow butthole. You're very observant. You see things that I'm sure nobody else would even consider seeing. And congratulations, you have my respect. And another bell for AD. My God, a giant rainbow butthole. Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to the giant rainbow butthole, but that you are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor today. If you want to, if you do want to sponsor the show, you can do that at pdognight.live. For some reason, Johnny Boomer Tech hasn't put it up there yet, but that's the best place to do super chat style stuff. Because when you do that, well, first of all, if you use pdognight.live, more of the money that you give goes to the person you're giving it to, as opposed to 30% to YouTube. Also, if you want to write something, like for example, AD did his quick question was probably about 100 and some characters, and he didn't have to pay any more to do that because you get 256 characters, no matter which. If it's $1, well, I think $2 might be the minimum. If it's $2 or more, it doesn't matter. $2, $5, $10, you can still get the same amount of writing space. So you can complete a thought without like having to figure out how to abbreviate and stuff. Because super chat, you do $2, you got like 40 characters or 50 characters. You can't say a whole lot in 50 characters. You can say a whole lot in Wait, time to fire Johnny Boomer Tech. I can't. I'm not gonna fire Johnny. Johnny's a good man. who does his job as best he can, and he has a master plan, and I am his biggest fan. So there you go. I'll let me do this. Wait, that's not it. What was I trying to do? Oh, I know what I was trying to do. Oh no! What happened? What the fuck happened there? I'm sorry. I'm doing some technical stuff while I'm here. Johnny's just not as fast as I am. Johnny's a little bit slow. As you know by my tech, I should say. Let's see. Where is it? Here, here's the super. I'll do this little superstar sponsor link right here myself. Here you go. Here you go. Until Johnny gets his shit together, because it usually takes him about 10 minutes. There you go. You can click that link for the superstar sponsor link. It'll be pinned at the top of the whatchamacallit, replace pin message. There you go. There's a new message. There you go. If you want to sponsor the show, that's the best place to do it. But super chats are fine. If you want to do Cash App or Venmo, those are in the description. You can do whatever the hell you want. Good morning, Jimmy Das Hotep from Hotep Nation. Welcome. All right, let's get into the show, because I've been babbling too long. Some of the, oh boy, this is sad. I don't know if you know Sonny Johnson. Her brother died. Her younger brother had two little girls who are still in elementary school. In fact, here's what I'm gonna do. If you, I don't know if you know Sonny or not, but I'm gonna put her GoFundMe for her brother, in the links today. So that'll be in the links today. Just a friend of the show and whatnot. Thank you. Oh, Jimmy Das Hotep got a let's go on here too. See, look at this. Whoever this guy is dancing, that's a let's go right there. That's a let's go. Thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, for sharing the show. All right, let's get into it. Things that are trending today. I didn't do the holiday thing today, and I don't have a birthday, but the Walter Payton Award at the NFL, they announced, the teams are announcing their nominations for the Walter Payton Award, and basically each team, the Walter Payton Award is for an NFL player who does great things for their community and things beyond football. And so all the teams are nominating their nominees today for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. So for example, the Cardinals, Terry McBride; Falcons, Grady Jarrett; Ravens, Roquan Smith, and so on and so forth. All those nominees are there. In fact, what I'll do is I'll pin that. If you're interested, you can check it out. I mean, not everyone here comes. I don't do a lot of sports stuff here, but was that even on the screen? That wasn't even on the screen, was it? There it is. So anyway, so that's kind of cool. Presented by Nationwide, which is not a sponsor of this show, but whatever. I'm always interested when these come out, though. Each team has a little vignette. Is that what you call it, a vignette? When you have a little short video or whatever talking about the guy. And it's just interesting to see how some of these NFL players contribute to the communities in which they play football, or their own home communities and stuff. So there you go. I'll put a link just to that if you want to check out the nominees from your favorite team. And that's all I got to say about that. Moving on. Also, what did I do there? That's not what I wanted to do. What the hell was that's not what I was trying to do. Here, let's do this again. There we go. There we go. All right, so that link's in there. Also, while we're talking about sports, I know that every single one of you is going to be so excited about this one. Everyone's favorite topic. Breaking. The name of the WNBA's first international expansion team has been announced. The Toronto Tempo. Okay, I can see you're really excited about that one. By the way, good morning, K-Show. What's up? Yeah, no, the WNBA is expanding. Why? I don't know. It still hasn't made money, but the new WNBA franchise of Toronto is going to be called the Toronto Tempo. They have some really weird names. Anyway, and I still have a cough. I think I'm dying. I probably shouldn't joke about that. Okay, moving on. In actual news, something called Hama is trending, and I thought, wait a minute, did someone spell Hamas wrong? And by the way, it's kind of ironic. They named it the Toronto Tempo, and I have a friend from Toronto that says that traffic in Toronto is about as bad as it is in Los Angeles. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure the people in Toronto were like, Toronto tempo. It should be like Toronto traffic jam or something. But anyway, Hama is trending. Now, I didn't know what Hama was. It's not Hamas, but Hama, which is apparently a town in Syria. We talked about how the town of Aleppo got taken over by rebels fighting Assad, and we know that the rebels in Syria are largely ISIS or I don't know, or something. They're some part of the terrorist group, whatever. But for some reason, we think we have to fund them against Syria because Syria is allied with Russia. And so it's a mess. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. But anyway, somebody here says Al Qaeda terrorists have taken over Hama with the backing of Israel, Turkey, and the U.S. Wait a minute. With the backing of Israel too? That's just weird. I don't understand that part of the world and the weird alliances. But if the reports that Assad forces have retreated from Hama, handing it to the rebels, are true, they will be retreating to mount a last stand at Homs. If the rebel capture the Homs area, it is all over for Assad. His Al-Wite coastal heartland and all the ports circled in pink will be cut off from the capital of Damascus. Iran would lose access to all but 2 border crossings into Lebanon, mountain passes that Israel can and routinely does control via airstrikes. The Kurds are also pushing into Deir az-Zor, circled in yellow down here, and if they succeed, Iran will lose its primary supply route to Hezbollah. They will be forced to run the gauntlet across the Syrian desert within easy reach of the U.S. bases. The best case for Assad is that his poorly paid troops can hold Homs, allowing him to keep a rump state, the blue circled area. If he can't, expect a huge bloodletting as the hated Alawites reap the whirlwind of their 50 years of oppression of all the other groups. The future of Hezbollah, Lebanon, and Assad depend on what happens in Homs. For Israel, the safest result is probably that Assad holds the blue circled area in his hugely weakened state, while the Kurds taking up strong points in the desert to cut the Iran-Lebanon routes or funnels. So anyway, let's just say that I'm not 100% sure who to root for over there. I don't know that any group's any better than any other, and so there you go. So that's trending, and whatever. By the way, good morning, Random American. Episkopos Hillsung, saw you on the Ranty Monkey show this morning, and in the chat, and because I was watching one this morning. So anyway, real quick, thank you, Avocados Diablo. Another small bullet in the tip jar, 223. Who says, again, this is Avocados Diablo's word, and I haven't pre-read it, but here we go. If they were smart, they would have called it the Toronto Tranny and populated the team with women. Might be interesting to watch them play in that case. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of having trans women in sports, but that might make the WNBA more entertaining. Just saying. Okay, I got you. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's terrible. Good morning, Darren Root. Also, all right. So that's Hama. That's why that's trending. Also, now since we're in the Middle East, let's talk about the UN agency. What is it? The UNRWA, which is an interesting organization. Now the UNRWA says it's it's an agency for Palestinian refugees. So, and unfortunately, this is a group from the United Nations, so to speak. Hello, Aaron Meredith, by the way. Well, let's just tell you what's going on. So this they posted something here saying the government of Israel is running a global disinformation campaign targeting UNRWA, the largest humanitarian provider for people in war-torn Gaza, which is interesting because a lot of humanitarian aid goes to like the leaders of Hamas. In fact, there's 5 leaders of Hamas who are billionaires now because between pilfering aid and whatever they do with it, and then they use the rest of the aid to build tunnels under Hamas to get to Israel, whatever. But anyway, so this says the largest humanitarian provider for the people in war-torn Gaza, the act of Israel, a UN member state, to label UNRWA, a UN agency, as a terror organization may amount to hate speech. Oh, really? Who enforces hate speech over there? I don't know. Using both Google ads and billboards around the world, the campaign is creating immense reputational damage to UNRWA. Those responsible for the spread of disinformation must stop and be held accountable. How do you hold them accountable? Again, I don't know how UN agencies expect to hold anybody accountable or anything. Regulations must be put in place to control the spread of such damaging and possibly dangerous messages. So Ted Cruz responds to that. You are terrorists. The next administration and Congress should defund you and sanction you into the ground, just for starters. So here's the problem. Because they are supposed to be administering the relief aid that the Palestinians get from around the world. And here's the problem, though. The UNRWA, an official UN agency paid for by donations from countries across the world, i.e. your taxes, has been serving as a wing of the Hamas terrorist regime for years. Right under the UNRWA headquarters in Gaza, Hamas built a sprawling subterranean complex. So, and this is stuff that they found underneath the offices of the UNRWA. So I don't know that these guys, they're good guys necessarily, got to serve. This is all the tunnel system that they built that goes all the way through Gaza, trying to, basically so they can, I don't know, attack or whatever. So for what that's worth, there's a whole section of people talking about this. And in fact, it says here his examples of the UNRWA collaborating with Hamas. Here, let's play this video real quick. All right, so here we go. In the days of the weeks following the attack, we learned about UNRWA's. Here, I'm going to turn that sound off. UNRWA's deep involvement. Here, a UNRWA employee is seen abducting a Hamas victim. In the recording, the UNRWA teacher refers to an Israeli hostage as a noble horse, which I'm not sure what that means. Oh wait, this is the exchange. You can read it yourself, or play this back later. So let's go here. So the first speaker here, someone says, "Where?" The speaker says, "Hello." The other speaker says, "Where are you?" The speaker one says, "Where the female captives are, everything's a mess. You and Abu Hassan aren't doing anything. Stay like that. Stay like that." I don't know what that means. "Shut up. We have female captives. I caught one. What did you bring? A horse." "You brought a horse? A noble horse, not just any horse." So anyway, and then they're showing, different tunnel openings around there. So anyway, it's a mess. And if you want to learn more about this whole situation, you can go to that tab. It'll be in the links today. I am going to move on. Hang on a second here. Here we go. Oh, and also, now Amnesty International has kind of stepped into this too. And so they posted this for some, well, first they posted this, saying it didn't start 1 year ago because it was the 1 year after the attack, I guess. Here's what they've posted.
"Don't let anyone tell you this all started on the 7th of October."
Now, by the way, this is Amnesty International. The speaker for Amnesty International is wearing a keffiyeh. So clearly taking a side on this. Okay? And I know not everyone agrees with me on this subject, but I'm sticking to my guns here. So don't
anyone tell you this all started on the 7th of October 2023. 76 years ago, my own family were displaced during the Nakba of 1948, when more than 700,000 Palestinians became refugees. They were displaced again in 1967 by the Israeli military, this time from the Gaza.
The 67 war? And why was that? That was the war when I think all the Arab countries around Israel attacked, and Israel, I think, held all of them back. I can't remember if that's right.
Heights. And today, many of my friends live under Israeli military rule and illegal apartheid in the West Bank in places like Jenin and Nablus.
Wait, illegal apartheid? Well, then what about all the 2 million Arabs that live in Israel and have no problem whatsoever? What do you mean illegal apartheid? You mean in the areas that you asked for to be your own state, and they've capitulated every single time, and then you're calling it an illegal apartheid? Help me understand that. I don't understand that.
The hundreds of thousands of people marching today in London at this national demonstration are calling for an immediate ceasefire, but also an end to 76 years of displacement, discrimination, and devastation. And when there is no accountability, there's no reason to change or to stop. And that's why 1 year on, Israel has escalated its attacks on Lebanon, leading to more devastation and death.
Okay, so anyway, this is a message from Amnesty International, Amnesty UK, right? Now, also, this says breaking, Amnesty International has taken upon themselves to redefine genocide for the sole purpose of demonizing Israel. In their report, they openly admit that they are redefining genocide so that it applies to Israel. So this is what they posted here. Outline is below. Amnesty International considers this an overly cramped interpretation of international jurisprudence and one that would effectively preclude finding of genocide in the context of armed conflict. The organization considers that, okay, so they basically say they're redefining genocide. So people are angry at Amnesty International. Some are, and some are applauding them. They wrote 101 pages of a 294-page report before they realized they just described war, so decided to change the definition of genocide to fit the facts. So that's what people are saying. Oh no, that's terrible. This the editorial cartoon there. So anyway, you guys know where I stand on that. Real quick, thank you, Avocado Stably. Another small pull in the tip jar. Thank you very much. Who says illegal apartheid? I didn't realize there was legal apartheid. Yeah. It's funny because they wanted Israel out of Gaza, so Israel left Gaza 7, 8 years ago, or 2000. I think it was 2005. Israel left. They wanted Israelis out of Gaza. They did. They in fact they took everyone out. They put a bunch of greenhouses in the Gaza area, and Hamas destroyed all the greenhouses so that the people there could grow their own food, saying that we don't want the stinking Jew charity. And ever since, they've been building tunnels and finding ways to plotting to attacks on Israel with constant attacks within Israel. So, that's why they have the border crossings. But they also basically, Gaza has this giant, I'll just call it a beach. They have a shoreline in Gaza, so they have access to the seas. They could have built ports with all the aid, instead of, and actually, here's the problem. I have a relative who's gone to Gaza, and it was actually pretty nice for a while. But they've done nothing but build tunnels underneath it so they could attack Israel again. And there's, I've watched this conflict my entire life. And it is always the so-called Palestinians rejecting every plan that they have to have a two-state solution. And so everyone says, "Oh, well, we need a two-state solution." Well, they've done it. They've tried it many times, and it just never seems to work. So I don't know what the solution is there. And Israel finally, I think, snapped and said, "Okay, you've done one last attack on us, and we're just going to go, scorched earth," which they're doing. And I can't say that I blame them. I'm sorry. I just can't. So off that subject, let's get on to something more cheery. LOL, Andrew Super Show. It's mushroom growing tunnels. Oh, that I see. They have tunnels so they can grow mushrooms. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you, Epskipos. There you go. No, Israel allow to build ports and control inflow of building materials harshly. Israel does not allow them to build ports? Well, except now the United States built them this nice port, and basically they started attacking the people building the ports for them. So it's just insane. It's insane. All right, let me move on here. Also, Anthony Fauci's trending. Now, as we know, Joseph Rahim Biden has pardoned his son, not only for things that he's been charged with, or that one he was found guilty on one of the tax thing, and they were about to sentence him for the other thing, whatever that was. And Joe Biden pardoned him, not just for those things that were been charged, but for anything that he could have possibly done since 2014. And so a lot of people on the left or Democrats or whatever are cheering this thing, even though it's, pretty hypocritical of the president. Well, now there's a bunch of people who are saying, oh, you know what? Joseph Biden should start pardoning everybody that could possibly be in the crosshairs, and that's not a literal crosshairs, just it's a figure of speech, of the incoming Biden administration. And so one of those people that are saying that Joseph Biden should pardon is none other than Dr. Anthony Fauci. And so someone here says, okay, here, a lot of people are talking about Fauci getting pardoned. Someone here says Fauci getting pardoned would be the ultimate slap in the face to every business owner, parent, and human who suffered under the weight of science. Science? You blinded me with science. Some people wonder why I still talk about Dr. Fauci. After all, he's retired and no longer works for the federal government. But Dr. Fauci inflicted so much harm on this country that we must not cease the conversation until he is held criminally liable. Millions of Americans still suffer from Dr. Fauci's legacy of destruction. He must be held accountable. Well, and that's why people are suggesting that Joe Biden pardon him. Hello, Ty Alexander. The Scourge is in the house. What up, Tyre? Oops, I didn't have to do it twice. So now Matt Taibbi of the Twitter Files fame says, pardon me, but this is bullshit. Whoever is running the White House can pardon anyone they please, but Anthony Fauci needs to stand tall before the man. The world is owed answers. Well, he doesn't answer questions and he lies usually. So that's why Anthony Fauci's trending. A lot of people are talking about this. And in fact, here it is. This is a Democratic strategist on, this is CNN, explains why Adam Schiff and Anthony Fauci may want to accept a pardon. Okay, they want these people to be pardoned before there's any investigations or charges. And I'm beginning to wonder, is this even legal? I don't know.
The question is, would they accept a pardon? Because if you don't think you did anything wrong, which they didn't.
Excuse me? Anyway.
They might want to not take a pardon. But I will say this, you're talking about an unprecedented crew of people coming in. They're listen, even if they don't indict you, they could investigate you into bankruptcy, torture you with
FBI.
Oh
my God, this is I've never heard of anything like this.
Kash Patel is evidently going to be our next FBI director. Is that what you want to be dealing with for the rest of your life?
Trump during the time he was out of office.
President Trump got actually indicted by a grand jury.
They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to.
Oh, you don't think? Oh, wait a minute. So she's saying that, well, President Trump got indicted by a grand jury. You don't think they could get a grand jury to indict Anthony Fauci? I bet they could find one. I bet they might even be able to find a grand jury to indict Adam Schiff if you have some evidence that he did something wrong, or Liz Cheney. All these people, they want him. The Democrats want Joseph Biden to basically give a blanket pardon to all these officials they think that the Trump administration might go after, and we're talking hundreds of people.
My God.
Raided his house.
So anyway, so that's why Fauci's on the list of people trending. No one is above the law. Here's the no one's above the law starter pack. And now this I don't think this is true. Breaking: Biden to pardon 51 former intelligence officials that helped him cover up the crimes with Hunter to steal the 2020 election. Okay, he hasn't done it yet. Anthony Fauci called RFK a liar for stating that not one of the 72 vaccines mandated for children has ever been safety tested. In response, RFK took legal action. After a year of delays, Fauci's lawyers conceded that RFK had been correct. Oh, no. So anyway, yeah, this guy right here, Dr. Anthony Fauci, you know, when you talk about the vaccines, they are safe and effective. That Anthony Fauci. So anyway, that's why he's trending. Now, I'm going to keep going here. So now we go from Anthony Fauci to Hawk Tuah girl. The Hawk Tuah girl is trending. And this is kind of wild if you ask me. So the Hawk Tuah girl launched a meme coin. Now, I'm not all that crypto savvy, but I'm pretty sure that if someone is coming up with a meme coin that they want you to invest in, and it's related to someone called the Hawk Tuah girl, I don't know that I would be investing in that shit. But anyway, so here's the story. The Hawk Tuah girl launched a meme coin, and everybody lost money, and people want to throw her in jail. Here's the story via Barstool Sports. The Hawk Tuah meme coin made over $2 million in 10 minutes. 96% of the supply is held in one cluster. Main takeaway: stay away from celebrity coins. So here's the situation. Here's a video of that.
All right, everyone. So in this video, we are going to be talking about the biggest news in crypto right now in the meme coin space, and that is going to be the meme coin token called Hawk. And this is by Haley Welch. So she did launch a meme coin based out of her Hawk Tuah, as you guys can see from her tweet here. However, if we take a look at the actual token, the Hawk token didn't disappoint, Bubble Map says, and 96% of the supply was in one cluster. So basically, they owned 96% of all of the tokens. And just in, Haley Welch pumped the coin to $500 million. And
what? What? $500 million? And it retraced. Well, here.
Trace it to 90 million within 10 minutes. So a huge,
90 million
drop.
in market cap.
And it did actually go lower to a $50 million market cap. And if we take a look at this wallet here, so this was a Hawk token insider, or a lot of people are speculating a sniper. But a lot of people do think that they are on the team. They sold a bunch of the tokens for $3.7 million profit. However, they are still
wait a minute. The Hawk Tuah coin. Holy shit.
Continuing to sell. So overall, the coin is going down consistently. However, Haley Welch came out with a post essentially stating that they didn't actually sell any of the coins. But a lot of people do think that this is BS. So This tweet here basically goes over, is this true or is this false? A lot of people think that, her and the team are selling. And Wizard of Soho comes out with this tweet: 97% of Hawk Tua held by the deployed wallet. LOL, LOL dumping on everyone. If you bought this, you're moronic. You deserve to lose it all. I don't think that you deserve to lose it all, but we did say stay away from this token in yesterday's video. And I did actually think that this was pretty funny. Keyboard Monkey says straight to a prison. So overall, that is the news with the Hawk to a token. I think the big...
Okay. Again, if you invested in anything because of the Hawk Tua girl, you're a dumbass. Okay? So anyway, someone here says, I'm down around 20,000 right now on the Hawk token. I really hope that Haley Welch can provide us with some roadmap updates or something. I, for one, am completely shocked and surprised by the way this turned out. Why? Why are you surprised? I'm sorry, the time frame isn't actually representative of how fast everybody who invested in Hawk lost all their money. It happened before she even got her announcement out. Hawkcoin investors lost their money in negative time. Certainly, I'm certainly not the best person to give any sort of cryptocurrency advice. I'm willing to bet that Hawk Tua isn't either. I'm willing to bet Hawk Tua, who by all accounts seems like an innocent enough girl who's trying nothing more than to make the most out of her 15 minutes of fame, is not the mastermind behind the scam in which she fleeces her fan base for millions of dollars via Hawkcoin. But as little as I know about the worlds of cryptocurrency, I know enough to know that if you don't know shit, and some crypto bros or crypto bitches who you don't know and trust very well ask you to be the face of a coin that thousands of people will foolishly throw significant amounts of money into, you probably shouldn't fucking do it. And I can't help but think that might be the case with our friend Hawk Tua here. But we can't know for certain that Ms. Tua herself isn't one of the token insiders who kept 97% of Hawk's supply and are actively selling it off to steal money hand over fist. Maybe this was Hawk Tua's master plan all along. Make a viral blowjob joke, become famous and start a podcast, build a following, con following out of millions, and bank on the fact that the crypto world is unregulated enough and stupid, I just added that you won't have to face any legal ramifications. And according to community notes and according to public information that tells us exactly who is holding and selling the available Hawk coin, it is a fact. In fact, members of the Hawk Tua team who are profiting off of this, despite what Hawk Tua copy and pasted to us. So, Haley may be in trouble. I'm just saying. Haley may be in trouble, but lots of people are pissed off about it. And as you scroll through here, someone here says, I have zero sympathy for anyone who loses money on celebrity crypto coin launch. If you sink any money, let alone a large amount, into the Hawk Tua coin, you got to be the dumbest motherfucker alive. There you go. Exactly. So, if you're dumb enough to buy the Hawk Tua meme coin, then you deserve to lose all your money. All right, so there you go. That's why Hawk Tua is trending. Real quick. Thank you, Avocados Diabli. Another small bullet in the tip jar. Appreciate it. And, here's a little late. Says, note about pardons from the president. They do not prevent you from state charges or civil litigation. No, that is true. That is true. And boy, oh boy, there's got to be some state charges in some of these things. Look, every state could sue and put Anthony Fauci in the docket if they wanted to. Just personally sue the shit out of him. Real quick. Good morning, thank you again, AD. Good morning, Sapphire Dragon and Andrew Thorsten and Reaction Puerto Rico. I already said that. And GDSOB. How you doing? All right. Next. And then the CoffeeZilla is apparently an investigator let's see. Oh, this is where she's being pressed for scamming. Excuse me, guys. Hawk Tua pressed by investigator CoffeeZilla for scamming millions allegedly. Let's see. Let's do just a moment of this, because it looks like Haley's online and there's someone named CoffeeZilla on the space here.
I'm really happy to answer any
I have
questions.
questions. I have questions. I'm raising my hand. Hey guys.
What CoffeeZilla?
Hey,
Hey, man.
this is one of the most miserable, horrible launches I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, then why the fuck are you on?
I've been tracing it on chain for a while. You guys generated over $1 million in fees while y'all's fans got rug pulled. There was snipers, but there was also insider trading.
Okay, there's a lot of lingo that I don't
linked
understand.
to y'all's creator account. What are you guys doing?
No, that's not true.
That is true. That's a fact.
No, it's not.
Well, it's a fact, and you can see it on chain. So
Yeah, we know. We trust me. We were there. We could answer that.
you know about the insider trading?
No, there's no insider trading. That's why we can answer it.
Okay,
But
so there's tokens
CoffeeZilla,
going directly from the main account,
CoffeeZilla, just chill for a second.
and then it's getting sold for $50K.
CoffeeZilla ain't having it.
Definitely not us. You think we're doing this for $50K? Yeah, fucking right. Talking to the wrong
Hello
guy.
to
You're
Blue
used
Ice Cream too.
bullshit
All right,
scammers
look,
out
I'm
here.
not going to play
Not
this whole
us.
thing. It's 5
Now.
minutes long. But I will put a separate link just to that conversation, because if you're into crypto and meme coins and stuff, it's a fascinating situation. I am so glad that I am not involved in that particular event, but that's why CoffeeZilla is trending. Now, another thing that's trending, and I thought for sure this was related to young Haley Haktua girl. The phrase IQ of 73 is trending. And it has nothing to do with the Haktua girl. This might be the dumbest shit I've seen, well, in the last 24 hours, because there's dumb shit every day. But somebody has floated the idea. This is somebody, Nurses Against Dick Pic, says, good morning, and post this nonsense. Trump IQ test result discovered in former New York MA whatever employee's closet. Wait, first of all, I want to know what that is. What the NYMA? Result 73. They're claiming that Donald Trump has an IQ of 73, which is some dumb shit. Results of an IQ test that President Donald Trump allegedly took during his first year at the New York Military Academy. Oh, then said, oh, what is it, in high school? In Brooklyn, according to the test results, Trump's IQ is 73. The document, currently in the process of being authenticated, was discovered Thursday by William Askew Jr. as he was cleaning out his late father's apartment. Yeah, I'm sure this is all just exact. This is like some pristine, reliable information. Dad was the school counselor at New York Military Academy from 1955 to 1985. He didn't administer these tests, but he was in charge of collecting them and sending them to the grading office, said Askew. Askew produced additional documents and photographs that confirm his father was indeed employed as a school counselor at the New York Military Academy at the same time Trump attended the military prep school. I don't think this should be news to anybody, said Askew. This guy's a total moron. First of all, an IQ of 73 is pretty much functionally, probably can't even talk very well. That's the dumbest shit ever. By the way, good morning, lunatic. How you doing? So anyway, so most people are ridiculing the idea that this is authentic. Dr. Mark Young says, you would need a IQ of 73 to believe that anyone with an IQ of 73 could do anything. Forget being a billionaire president. And then someone says, oh, you must be thinking of a Ketanji Brown Jackson. Any idiot would know that an IQ of 73 would literally make him severely mentally handicapped and living in a group home, but the left is willing to buy anything that reinforces their beliefs. So everyone on the left is believing it. People on the right are ridiculing it. Oh, so wait a minute. So this miserable hag has someone lost to someone with an IQ of 73? Well, it's believable, at least that part. And then again, this one, a combined IQ of 73, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. There you go. So anyway, that's why IQ of 73 is trending. Has nothing to do with a hawk to a girl. Although sometimes you go, Also, the phrase "make love" is trending. Now, this is a little bit different. The comedian and podcaster Andrew Schultz apparently said something about the fact that he says Kendrick Lamar's people could beat him up, but if he was with Kendrick in a cell, he could easily make love to him. I think it was a joke, obviously, because I don't know that. Let me see if I can find. Well, these are all like 2 or 3 minutes long. I don't want to play a 3-minute clip. Well, here, Andrew Schultz talking. I don't know what he was on some podcast, but this is making the rounds because first of all, Tariq Nasheed is very concerned about it, and but anyway, here it is.
Like, first of all, Kendrick's people and the gang affiliate, everybody, his security, they will kill me. They will destroy me. They'll find me in the street. They'll fucking cut me up. They'll shoot me. They'll do whatever. I'm not a tough guy. Y'all would do. But just Kendrick, I would make love to him, and there's nothing he can do about it. Just Kendrick Lamar, I would make love to him, and the only thing that he could do is decide if it's consensual or not. That's the only thing he could do. If it's me and Kendrick, this is about physics. It's about physics. I don't even know if I'll get hard. But if we're in a cell, there's a chance that if we're in a cell and we're
So
bored
obviously
and
this
we're done
is
tattooing each other, whatever you.
This is a joke, but it's funny, and that's why IQ of 73 is trending. Okay. Moving on. That's so dumb. Taylor Lorenz and CEOs is trending. So yesterday we had that terrible news about the CEO of United Health being murdered in the streets, and now there's footage out, and you see the footage of the person actually shooting. It just looked like the guy was waiting there to hit him very specifically, right? And I don't think it was a hitman. I just think it was someone, probably a disgruntled customer or something, right? Well, a lot of people, I wasn't prepared for this. There's a lot of people on X who are kind of celebrating this. Like a guy getting murdered in the street, there's a video of it, and there's people on X celebrating the assassination of this CEO. And so Taylor Lorenz pops out of the woodwork, and she's already kind of stupid, but well, let me just show you. I'll just go through this thread here. So first of all, this person says, "Be Taylor Lorenz, celebrate the assassination of a CEO you've never heard about before because our healthcare industry is bad or something. Deny you said it. Respond to the screenshots proving that you said it with further justification for the assassination." So here it is. Taylor Lorenz seemed to be celebrating the assassination of United Healthcare's CEO because she put this, and people wonder why we want these executives dead, and she posts something, right? And then the other thing she wrote was, people have very justified hatred towards insurance company CEOs because these executives are responsible for an unfathomable amount of death and suffering. As someone against death and suffering, I think it's good to call out this broken system and the people in power who enable it. So that sounds like she's celebrating it, right? Well, she replies, Austin Reeves seems to be attempting to manufacture an outrage campaign over a journalist posting about the sentiment surrounding a viral news event. Now, Taylor Lorenz kind of gave up journalism a long time ago and basically just flaps her lips and spews out stupid, right? And it's all just her opinion. It's not being a journalist or whatever. To which this guy says, you're posting about your own sentiment. Don't backtrack. Does the state of America's healthcare system sucks? Of course it does, but people shouldn't celebrate murder because she said, and people consider why we want these executives dead. And she says, murder is like what happens every year to thousands of innocent Americans killed by greedy insurance executives denying them coverage. She's still mad about this long COVID thing. She's still wearing a mask. In fact, this is funny. So apparently, Taylor Lorenz was trying to arrange a book signing, and apparently couldn't get the venue of the book signing to require everyone to wear masks. And so she was really, really, really mad because she still wears masks. Hello, Midnight in Exile. And she was really, really mad about it. And so which I laughed because I thought the whole thing was ridiculous. The fact that that anyone would go to a book signing by Taylor Lorenz. But anyway, so here we go. I love Taylor Lorenz so much because she spends half her time wishing death on her enemies and the other half complaining about online bullying. That's true because she's really into that. Someone said I had no idea she was this crazy. Oh, and here's the other thing. So she points out, then she also tweeted this. Something called More Perfect Union put this on Blue Sky Social. Blue Cross Blue Shield in Connecticut, and New York, and Missouri has declared it will no longer pay for anesthesia for a full length of some surgeries. If the procedure goes over a certain time, anesthesia will not be covered for the duration, right? Which that's questionable, and why they do it in those 3 states may have to do with laws that were passed in that state. I don't know. I don't know why they would do that specifically in those 3 states. But this is the day after that CEO from United Health was murdered, right? And so she posts this, and people wonder why we, again, keyword we, want these executive dead. And then in the subsequent post, she posts the picture of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association CEO. It's like, you realize that a different CEO was just murdered, and you're posting a picture on the internet, which I shouldn't even have showed the picture. I shouldn't have done that. So anyway, by the way, and this one says, Taylor Lorenz and COVID is like that last one Japanese soldier on Atoll in 1973 who wasn't told the war was long over. Yeah, that's the truth. So anyway, so that's why this lunatic with a capital C is trending. Anyway, real quick, thank you, Reaction Puerto Rico. Dropping a 5 spot in the Super Chats via YouTube Super Chat. It says, I'm sorry. Taylor comes from a lot of money. She's one of those kids that hates coming from wealth, but won't give up the Park Avenue lifestyle. Yeah, she's definitely a silver spoon baby, but she's really a bitch. No one is. There's really nobody on her side here. And in fact, here's a good post too about this, who Natalie Danielson says, Blue Sky is allowing threats of violence on its platform from none other than Taylor Lorenz, who posted the name of the Blue Cross Blue Shield CEO along with other questionable posts. So she's getting a lot of shit about that. So that's why she's trending. And FTG, hey, there you go. FTG, Taylor Lorenz. You stupid bitch. All right, moving on. Let's see, CEOs, we're done with that. Oh, insurance is trending too. Again, everyone's talking about insurance and CEOs now, and there's just too. It bothers me. There's just too many people celebrating the death of this guy. I don't care. He's a man with two young kids. Or I don't know if they're young, but he has 2 kids and a wife and people who love him, and gets murdered in the street, brutally murdered in the street, and you're out here cheering and saying, "Oh well, this is why people hate these CEOs." Blah 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 blah. Stupid bitch. All right, Obamacare is trending also, and it's trending for a few reasons because, a lot of people are upset that Donald Trump is still kind of talking about getting rid of Obamacare, and the other plan was in the debate and whatever. And and also with the CEOs at United Health and this Taylor Lorenz thing. So a lot of people are talking about Obamacare too. And I came across this post from someone named Mark Hyman. Someone here says, can someone explain to me why Trump wants to end Obamacare so bad? Everyone needs health care. Sick people and children need health care. Explain it to me like I'm in kindergarten. Well, here you go. Asked and answered. The annual cost of medical insurance premiums for a family in 2009 was $13,704. In 2010, Obamacare was enacted. And now, 2023, $23,968 a year for health insurance, an increase in cost of 75%. So there you go. And don't forget higher deductibles and less coverage for that. Now they're saying only a 75% increase in 14 years. You lucky bastard. Mine got multiplied 6 times overnight, up 940%. Yeah. So basically, the Affordable Care Act, which is also trending, it raised everybody's premiums in order to give a program that a small percentage of Americans used. So I don't know. So that where's the Affordable Care Act one? That was trending too. Oh, I just moved to the wrong spot. But also people are saying that people don't realize that Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are the same. So anyway, so here's I was already on there. So someone here says, so Taylor Renz, people have very justified hatred towards insurance company CEOs because these executives are responsible for an unfathomable amount of death and suffering. As someone against death and suffering, I think it's good to call out this broken system and the people in power who enable it. Just someone replied, hey, dumbass, don't forget that it was the Democrats who enabled it when they ramrodded their laughably named Affordable Care Act through Congress on a one-party rule. Since then, millions of Americans pay considerably more with zero improvement in care, quality, or access. And that is the rub on the Affordable Care Act. So there you go. Next, Obamacare. Oh, Morning Joe is trending. So apparently, Morning Joe has, the main thing that people are saying is that the Morning Joe has apologized to Fox News. And this is the only thing I want to see because I don't give a shit about Morning Joe. Here's Mika Brzezinski, a.k.a. Leaker, and Beaker, Beaker and Leaker. Here's the clip that everyone's talking about. I'm going to see if there's a longer version of it. Let's try this one first.
Before we go to break, a little bit earlier in this block, there was a comment made about Fox News.
What was that?
In our coverage about Pete Hegseth and the growing number of allegations about his behavior over the years and possible addiction to alcohol or issues with alcohol. The comment was a little...
Okay. Then we read that NBC, or we showed you the NBC hit piece about the alcohol. 10 unnamed sources, but then the people who were ready to put their name on the record's like, nah, that's not true. This is interesting. But this is what happens. See, all they have to do is write a piece. It doesn't have to be true. They can find out it's false 2 years later, and it doesn't matter. Or they can find out it's false a day later. It doesn't matter. They will keep talking about it as if it's all been verified. So you see how she's framing this already. She's going to apologize to Fox News for something.
About Pete Hegseth and the growing number of allegations about his behavior over the years and possible addiction to alcohol or issues with alcohol. The comment was a little...
Or not.
Too flippant for this moment that we're in. We just want to make that comment as well. We want to make that clear.
Apparently the lawyers called the show in the middle of the show.
We have differences in coverage with Fox News, and that's a good debate that we should have often. But right now, I just want to say there's a lot of good people that work at Fox News who care about Pete Hegseth, and we'll want to leave it at that.
Okay, so that's interesting. So obviously the lawyer said, hey, you may have said something you maybe shouldn't have. So it's interesting. Let's see. Now, 2 hours ago, Joe and Mika are devoting an entire segment this morning indignantly ranting about kissing Trump's ring. I'll tell you what, they're not going to win viewers back if they continue to justify their actions. Do yourself a favor and schmooze your way to Fox, according to Morning Joe. So people think they're trying to get on Fox. There was another clip, though, of this that they're calling, well, that's the same apology. They're in a bad place right now because their viewership of MSNBC, the viewership of MSNBC expects nothing but anti-Trump, anti-Fox, anti-Republican, anti. Anyone right of, well, Joe himself, Joe Scarborough, 24/7. And so if you go and visit Trump, fuck you. You were not going to watch your fucking show, you fucking traitors, blah, 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 blah. If you say, we're sorry to Fox for something that probably is going to get us sued, no, fuckers, you can't even, that's just groveling to the right. So anyway, but this whole drunk smear is being just bandied about as if that was gospel, that all these unnamed sources are definitely credible. Hello, Mike, by the way. The good Mike, not the bad Mike. Although if it was the bad Mike, I would say hello too. But yeah, this they're calling this an apology to Fox News. Let's see. That's from December 3rd. Good Thursday. Joe and Mika apologizing to Fox News. So anyway, that's how they're interpreting it. That they're groveling to Fox News. Maybe you want to be on Fox News. I don't know. And then finally, Harvard is trending. Now, Harvard is trending mainly because of the main topic today, and that is this Supreme Court case that was heard yesterday regarding the medicalization of children in the transition debate. Okay, so trans youth debate. If we're gonna, the state of Tennessee has made it illegal to do any medicalization of anyone under 18 for the purpose of transitioning from one gender to another gender. And somehow the debate came because Riley Gaines, the swimmer from the University of Kentucky, now graduated and whatever, posted something on X talking about how Ketanji Brown Jackson may be the dumbest person on the Supreme Court. To which many people replied, well, she went to Harvard, and so she's at Harvard, and she's a Harvard law grad, and that means she's much smarter than you with your lowly little BA from the University of Kentucky. And so there's a debate about Harvard right now, and that's why Harvard's trending. And Ben Shapiro chimed in because someone here says, here it is, this is it. So she said, KGB, or BG, is wildly unqualified to become a Supreme Court justice. How in the world did she ever get confirmed? To which this person, James Shirowicki, says, Riley Gaines, who has a BA from the University of Kentucky, thinks she's qualified to judge the legal chops of a judge who graduated magna cum laude from Harvard and cum laude from Harvard Law School. To which my first thought when I saw that, I'm like, you know who else graduated from Harvard? In fact, got a master's degree from Harvard. Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth is a Harvard grad. But then a second thought came into my mind. You know who else graduated from Harvard? David fucking Hogg. So when you say that someone graduated from Harvard, and by the way, in the Ivy League schools in particular, I've read several articles on this. Grade inflation at the Ivies is rampant. There's almost no such thing as a B student at Harvard. Everyone gets A's for everything, and I'm pretty sure that if you are a person of color, you probably get a little bit of a little bump in your grades there because, you know, their admissions does that. And so the idea that someone graduated cum laude from Harvard or magna cum laude, whatever, means shit to me, because I think it's like 70% of Harvard grads graduate with honors. That's how bad it is. And maybe that's how good it is. Maybe they're all just that smart. But if 70 to 80% of your graduates graduate with honors, well, it sounds like a participation trophy to me. But anyway, so Ben Shapiro has chimed in on this because he also has a degree from Harvard. Hey, Harvard law grad cum laude here. She's wildly unqualified to be a Supreme Court judge and makes a mockery of herself on the bench regularly. So this is all related to this case that's at the Supreme Court right now. And so here's the lowdown on it. So okay, they made a mistake here. This is a typo. It's actually the United States Supreme Court hearing arguments over the definition of the word woman. Now remember, Ketanji Brown Jackson, very famously during her confirmation trials in the United States Senate for the Supreme Court, was asked a question by Marsha Blackburn, the senator from Tennessee. What is a woman? Wait a minute. This says the United Kingdom's Supreme Court. Oh no, this is a different article. This is the UK. This is in the UK. I'm in the wrong article. Anyway, let me come back to that. That's funny. I didn't even see the headline there. Let's get to the court case that we're into here, though. The court case I want to talk about. So anyway, during the oral arguments on this case in the Tennessee, trans children non-medicalization law, Ketanji Brown Jackson kind of sounded weirdly. I mean, I didn't understand what argument she was trying to make here. This article, says she made a fool of herself during oral arguments, maybe because you can't really mock Supreme Court justices while you're there. It's not a good look, and they would probably just all give you the little, raised eyebrow. But I wish someone would have asked Ketanji Brown Jackson, wait, why are you even on this case? You can't define what a woman is. But anyway, the Supreme Court is hearing arguments in U.S. versus Scrimity, an extremely important case over state restrictions on medically unnecessary interventions, such as puberty blockers and hormone treatment for minors experiencing gender confusion. At issue is the constitutionality of a Tennessee law that prohibits these procedures for gender-confused kids, though the outcome of this case will have implications for 24 other states enacting similar measures, as it could pave the way for more states to outlaw these practices on kids and potentially adults as well. Now, so far, as I've listened to the hubbub around this, I haven't heard a whole lot of questions from the justices on if states can be allowed to determine what medical procedures are legal and not legal in their states, that's kind of the route I was expecting to hear a lot more. But maybe that's just because the highlighted things that people put out there aren't those things. But anyway, the dispute is the first in which the justices will consider the constitutionality of states' efforts to regulate medical interventions for transgender youth. But it comes as a Republican-led states have enacted a slew of restrictions targeting transgender individuals, including policies on sports teams and restroom access, according to CBS News. Quote, President-elect Donald Trump has vowed to restrict medical treatments for transgender minors and bar transgender athletes from participating in women's sports. And while the Biden administration will argue Wednesday that the Supreme Court should invalidate Tennessee's law, the incoming Trump administration could reverse the government's position once it's in power early next year. Oral arguments are ongoing, and we've already got a cringeworthy claim from Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who was nominated to the court by Joseph Rahim Biden. She attempted to draw a parallel between banning transgender procedures for minors and banning interracial marriage during the oral arguments. Her premise was nothing short of baffling. She started by saying, being drawn by the statute that was sort of like the starting point. The question was whether it was discriminatory because it applied to both races and wasn't necessarily individuous or whatever, before trailing off into a blaze of confusion. Her argument only got more tangled as she continued. Well, here, let's just listen to it because it's only 56 seconds. Listen to this argument she makes.
It's absolutely a parallel between any law that says you can't act inconsistent with a protected characteristic and in all other contexts.
What happened there? Oh, hang on a second.
Being drawn by the statute. That was sort of like the starting point. The question was whether it was discriminatory because it applied to both races and it wasn't, necessarily invidious or whatever. But, as I read the statute here, the case here, the court starts off by saying that Virginia is now one of 16 states which prohibit and punish marriages on the basis of racial classifications. And when you look at the structure of that law, it looks in terms of, you can't do something that is inconsistent with your own characteristics. It's sort of the same thing. So it's interesting to me that we now have this different argument, and I wonder whether Virginia could have gotten away with what they did here by just making a classification argument the way that Tennessee is in this case.
Yes, I think that's...
Okay, so anyway, so again, her argument only got more tangled. But as I read the case here, the court starts off by saying that Virginia is now one of 16 states which prohibit and punish marriages on the basis of racial classification. This is back at the case that got overturned. She clearly wanted to invoke the history of racial discrimination, but the connection to the current case was tenuous, to say it best. Then the real leap in logic came, and when you look at the structure of that law, it looks in terms of you can't do something that is inconsistent with your own characteristics. It's sort of the same thing. The idea that prohibiting minors from receiving irreversible barbaric gender surgeries and hormones could be compared to a law prohibiting interracial marriage is quite frankly laughable. Jackson's comparisons seem to rest on an assertion that both laws were somehow grounded in inconsistency with one's characteristics. Of course, this is the same person who infamously declared during her confirmation hearing that she could not define what a woman is because I'm not a biologist. But then, without missing a beat, she tried to pivot. Quote, "So it's interesting to me that we now have this different argument. I wonder whether Virginia could have gotten away with what they did here by just making a classification argument the way that Tennessee is in this case." At this point, she even seemed to realize how far-fetched the analogy was. Now, Solicitor General Elizabeth Prelogar, who is at the Supreme Court arguing on behalf of the Biden administration, responded, "Yes, I think that's exactly right, that there is absolutely a parallel between any law that says you can't act inconsistent with a protected characteristic and in all other contexts." Now, did you need another reason to explain why Trump won the election? Banning sex changes for minors and banning interracial marriage are fundamentally different and cannot be compared. Interracial marriage bans were rooted in overt racial discrimination. In contrast, bans on gender procedures for minors aims to protect children from irreversible medical interventions when they lack the maturity to make such life-altering decisions. So, real quick, thank you, Avocados Diabli, dropping another small pull in the tip jar, who says, "Pretty sure the only way you are getting a B at Harvard is if you use a bit too much tooth while slapping on the knob of your professor." Oh my God! Oh my God! AD, you're incorrigible. Now, so a couple articles on this. I'm going to go through two of them before we get out of here, and then we'll see what else is left. So this is a Front Page Magazine, Daniel Greenfield, the ever brilliant Daniel Greenfield. "The Supreme Court shows the left's inability to grasp the transgender movement's harms." No, it's not like aspirin. "The Supreme Court hearings on U.S. versus Scrimetti should have been the left's moment to provide a compelling defense of the transgender movement, especially Justice Not a Biologist Jackson's especially Justice Not a Biologist Jackson. Instead, the country witnessed Judge Sotomayor comparing transgender mutilation of children to taking an aspirin. Good thing there's no government agency regulating those. And Jackson comparing the regulation of transgender intervention to interracial marriage. Both of those are dumb arguments, but they're also notable for being the high points of the debate. After a massive election defeat driven in part by the Democrats' party extreme position on the transgender movement, the party and its people show that they're unable to grasp the harm caused by the transgender movement to children and women. Deploying a law to argue that 2-year-olds are empowered to change their sex, justices who don't even seem to grasp the issue. The hearings ably showed why Democrats embraced the transgender movement. They did it by refusing to see the costs and harms and insisted on seeing the issue through a narrow civil rights prism of an oppressed minority. And no matter how many women or children they threw out of the bus, they were incapable of changing. In a case where Democrats have to argue why government shouldn't be able to regulate one particular set of medical interventions, well, 2 sets, including abortion, but can regulate all others, they proved unable to understand why anyone would even want to regulate them. And so, by reckoning with the harm that they've caused, continue to play out in political consequences. Yeah. And that's a good point. It's like, okay, wait a minute. The state or a state can regulate all other medical procedures and interventions except for this one? Why can't? What makes this one so special that a state can't regulate this? Now, and by the way, the Daily Caller has a new documentary out exposing the danger of online grooming and the creeps who wanted to trans your kids. The U.S. Supreme Court hears arguments Wednesday concerning Tennessee's ban on child sex changes. And there's no better time to revisit a Daily Caller documentary that exposes the utter depravity of online grooming. In 2023, the Biden Department of Justice sued the state of Tennessee over a bill that banned child sex changes, claiming the legislation violated the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment and discriminated against confused and otherwise mentally ill youth who identified as transgender. The bill in question barred healthcare providers from giving minors sex change surgeries, puberty blockers, and cross-sex hormones. Many of the kids Tennessee bills seeks to protect from money-grubbing healthcare industry are often victims of online grooming. On social media, where kids are free to roam without parental supervision, they discover videos and chat forums where left-wing adults spread a poisonous transgender ideology. Without knowing any better, innocent kids get sucked into a world where down is up, gender is fluid, and sex changes at such a young age are necessary to survive. And sex changes at such young ages aren't necessary to survive. Life-saving, gender-affirming healthcare. It's truly terrifying stuff. And one of the main reasons why, when I have kids, that's the writer saying this, I will be an absolute dictator over their internet use, cell phones, and social media. Thankfully, the Daily Caller's documentary, Groomed, shines a light on all of the awful things online that parents understandably miss. The film tells the story of a mother whose daughter was groomed online by creeps who wanted to convince her that radical transgender ideology was a good thing and how this mother fought back. It's a must-watch as SCOTUS debates the critical case. So here's the trailer. Here, hang on a second here. I'm going to put a link to this. This is the... Okay, so that's where you can find the documentary. I'll put the links in that link in the chat also. But here's the trailer to it, and I think it's pretty good. I don't know if I'm assuming that I can play this, so we'll see. Here we go. The trailer to Groomed from the Daily Caller.
She knew that something was happening to her.
Any adult could prey on them.
They communicate through every avenue. Wherever there's a connection to the internet, the indoctrinators, pedophiles, they go there.
And they're finding all kinds of content that is really not age appropriate.
We're talking about serious groomer stuff.
She was talking to people in different states.
I want to talk to the kids.
Oh, this motherfucker. This Jeffrey, whatever the fuck his name is, this motherfucker is the worst.
I want to talk to the children. You can come hang out.
Jeffrey Marsh.
They're coming after the kids, and they even say it. It's really easy to trick a kid into things. It was sheer indoctrination.
It doesn't feel natural at all. Very much feels like a social contagion.
It's grossly negligent and it's borderline child abuse.
When she made her pronouncement that she was trans, she was severely depressed. I got into all of her social media. I spent a week going through everything on her phone and seeing what she was exposed to. It was just so perverted.
I do tell parents to restrict social media.
The shaping parts of our society are all in. The adults in the room are fearful to speak the truth.
All right, so, oh my God, Jeffrey Marsh is why lynch mobs were invented. Yeah, kind of. That dude is terrible. So anyway, the link to this, let's see, click here to see more. Apparently you can watch, okay. Oh, well, you've reached premium content. Apparently you have to pay to it $1. Continue reading for $1. You can watch the movie for $1. So, and it'll be ad free or whatever. So, if you're willing to pay $1 to see it, I may just do it just to see it. So, link is there. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm kind of at the end. Except I do have two more articles. Let's do these two articles. I have time to do these, so let's do them. So this is CNN. So this argument or this case where they were hearing arguments at the Supreme Court was happening, and so on CNN, they decided to talk about this. Jake Tapper had a guest on his show. And apparently this trans lawyer says that 2-year-olds know if they're trans and kids should be legally castrated. For the first time in history, a gender-confused lawyer will argue before the U.S. Supreme Court for the sexual mutilation of underage children. Oral arguments began on Wednesday, disputing a Tennessee law that protects minors from the irreversible gender transition procedures. The legislation bars doctors from prescribing puberty blockers and hormone therapy and performing Frankenstein-like surgeries on small children who haven't even learned how to spell their names yet. Seems reasonable, but not to Trace Strangio, the transgender attorney arguing the case. In fact, I hate even calling Chase he, but believes 2-year-olds already know when they want to switch genders. In a friendly interview with CNN, Strangio, a biological woman who represented the ACLU, laid out her plans to twist the case into a fight for civil rights. So they're playing it as a civil rights case versus who can make laws regulating
I want to bring in the lawyer who's going to argue this high-profile case.
Oh, we did watch this yesterday, but we'll do it again. What the hell?
Case before the U.S. Supreme Court. Chase Strangio. Chase, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. So the case comes at a time when 26 states have passed laws restricting healthcare treatments for transgender youth, according to a CNN analysis of data from the nonprofit think tank Movement Advancement Project. So how do you plan to argue before the U.S. Supreme Court in a case that could have wide-ranging implications beyond the state of Tennessee?
Well, thank you for having me, Jake. And obviously, this is a critical inflection point for transgender people across the country. We're coming off of an election season where transgender people played an outside role in people's consciousness.
2-year-olds barely have a sense of gender. A lot of 2-year-olds can't even talk yet. They're just learning to talk. They don't know. They don't have a concept of what gender is. They know they have a mom and a dad or whoever the parents are, but the idea that they know that they are not what they're supposed to be is just insane. And how do they express that? That's the other part.
In terms of the way in which we were situated as a threat to others. And when we look at the map of states that ban this type of evidence-based healthcare, we went from...
Evidence-based? No, it's not evidence-based. In fact, you know what? I'm not going to watch this again. No, we will. We'll watch it again because this is very irritating. It's not evidence-based. In fact, they know that there's a dearth of evidence. In fact, like I said, the World Professional Association of Transgender Health knows they don't have any long-term studies. You'll hear what this is.
0 states that had these bans in 2020 to now more than...
Yeah, 0 states had them in 2020 because you guys started basically feeding the contagion online. started implanting this ideology into schools and having drag queens, books, what is it? Drag queen story hours and trying to get kids to go to see LGBTQ content, but the trans stuff came with it. So you're the ones trying to convince, and the Reddit and what was the one, Tumblr, and all these places where it was just proliferated with this shit and got kids so confused. And you've infused it into school, you've infused it into lesson plans about every subject, math, science. You always have and the pronoun thing, fuck you.
More than half the country. So before the court tomorrow, the question is really a simple one as I see it.
It's not that simple.
This is a law that bans medical treatment only when it is prescribed inconsistent with an individual's sex. Our argument is that
because the drugs they use are not approved for the use that you're using them for. At least the puberty blockers are. Those are chemical castration drugs and cancer treatments. They're not. You're using it as an off-brand use and causing permanent damage to kids who have no idea what their future holds.
treats people differently because of their sex, and therefore
Again,
the court has to treat it like
make
all
it
other
a civil
forms
rights
of sex discrimination, and that's why it's unconstitutional.
So attorneys representing the state of Tennessee told the U.S. Supreme Court, quote, if the government's theory holds, men who identify as women could claim constitutionally based access to women's bathrooms, women's locker rooms, and women's sports. Accepting that theory would perversely erode women's rights and jeopardize landmark statutes protecting women's equal access to schools, winners' podiums, and beyond.
But they're real women. They're real women.
What's your response to that?
Well, I obviously disagree with that premise that allowing transgender women into women's sports or women's bathroom is a threat to women, but it is also not the question before the court in this case. And in fact, it is a totally independent question about whether a law that bans medical care for transgender adolescents discriminates against people based on sex versus these separate cases that preceded any of these healthcare bans will continue to be litigated in the courts regardless of the outcome here. So that clearly is conflating a bunch of different questions. The question before the court tomorrow is about whether banning medical care, overriding the consent of parents, the recommendations of doctors is about.
It's funny too because I know in some states, now obviously in some states you have to have parent consent to get your ears pierced, whatever. But some states will not allow a minor, under 18, to get a tattoo, regardless of parent consent. Because why? Well, long-term effects of it and whatever. My dollar identifies as 1 million. Yeah, I wish mine could do that.
Violation of equal protection.
What do you say to physicians who are sensitive and supportive of trans kids, obviously don't want suicidal ideation, etc.?
Which doesn't change before or after any of these procedures. It's the same, and there's plenty of evidence in multiple countries that prove that doesn't change.
But wonder if there is enough data as of now.
There's not
to prove that it is beneficial.
Not in the United States, because in the United States you cannot study this because the activists will not allow you to study it or not allow you to publish results that go against what they would like to see. So that's a whole problem too.
Of treatments before the age of 18.
So I would say three things. And the first is we have decades of both clinical experience and research data showing that this is medical treatment that provides critical benefits to adolescents.
Doesn't change suicide ideation, though. That's fact, Jack.
Who need it. And so this is not new. This is not.
Or Jill.
Not new medication, and so we have that information. We have long-term studies that track people for 5-6 years.
Oh, 5-6 years. Yeah, we laughed about that yesterday.
We heard arguments in an FDA case in which the FDA referred to long-term as being 6 months of follow-up. Here we have years.
No. You call it long-term, 6 months of follow-up. That's not a long-term study. You just require 6 months of follow-up, which you probably need to require 10 years of follow-up because you're doing permanent medicalization of children. There are no big studies on long-term effects, at least not in the United States. Now, there are in other countries. Sweden has tons of data on this, and they ended up banning it.
A follow-up. And so that's the first thing. And then the second thing I would say is nobody has to provide this medication.
Except you require every health system in the country to do it. If you could, you'll want to require every health system in the country to provide these services. Just like you try to make the Catholics, just like you try to make the Catholic nuns have insurance for birth control.
To adolescents. These are not doctors being forced to provide this medication. These are doctors
who
are wanting to treat them.
How about a pharmacist? Will the pharmacist be forced to provide a medication that they don't think is proper off-label use for? Because still, especially the medications, especially the puberty blockers, they're still not approved for this use. It's off-label use of a castration drug.
Their patients in the best way that they know how, based on the best available evidence to us. And
or
these
lack
are young
thereof.
people who may have known since they were 2 years old exactly who they are, who suffered for 6-7 years before they had any relief. And what's happening here, it's not the kids who are consenting to this treatment, it's the parents who are consenting to the treatment.
And
as a parent,
you threaten them with the threat, you're either do this or suicide. That's the choices. You blackmail them into it because you're activists.
I would say when our children are suffering, we are suffering. And these are parents who love their children, who are listening to the advice of their doctors, of the mainstream medical community, and doing what's right for their kids. And the state of Tennessee has displaced their judgment.
Earlier this year, England's National Health Service stopped prescribing puberty blockers for children with gender dysphoria, claiming that there's, quote, not enough evidence to support the safety or clinical effectiveness. It does seem as though, whereas Europe used to be more progressive on these issues, they're dialing it back.
Because they've been doing it longer.
I don't totally agree with that premise. There's a subset of European countries that are imposing some guardrails on the prescription of the care, and the puberty blockers pause is temporary. And of course, there's no comparable restriction on restrictions for hormone therapy for transgender adolescents in the UK. But all of these countries that have taken a look at care in Europe and have put in some caution have not done two things that Tennessee has done. Stripped adolescents of the care that they are receiving, and that is something that Tennessee has done through SB 1.
Good.
And the second is provide no clinical pathway for people to receive the care.
False. They can wait till they're 18. So that's the pathway, which still, in my opinion, is too early because your brain's not developed yet, still fully. All right, now, on the other hand, the UK Supreme Court is hearing arguments over the definition of the word woman. Apparently, this has got people upset. The United Kingdom Supreme Court has heard arguments in a case in which the justices must define what is a woman as it pertains to the Equality Act by the Scottish government. 5 Supreme Court justices, 3 men and 2 women, agreed to hear the case brought by the women's rights group For Women Scotland against the Scottish legislature after it passed a law stating that every Scottish public board should include an equal amount of men and women. However, the Scottish government's definition of woman includes trans-identifying men with a gender recognition certificate, which is something you can get, I guess. It also claimed that the certificate entitled transgender individuals to the same protection under the Equality Act as those born female. Lawyers for FWS, Aidan O'Neill, told the justice that sex should refer to biological sex as understood in ordinary everyday language. When it comes to the Equality Act, a 2022 decision by Scotland's Court of Session ruled that for the purpose of equality, sex was not limited to biological or birth sex. Oh, fan-fucking-tastic. And that it included those with the GRC, what do they call that? Gender confirmation certificate or some bullshit like that. So let's see. Our position is your sex, whether you are a man or a woman or a girl or a boy, is determined from from conception in utero, even before one's birth by one's body, O'Neill said. It's an expression of one's bodily reality. It is an immutable biological state, as For Women's Scotland's director, Tina Budge, pointed out, For Women's Scotland director Tina Budge pointed out, not tying the definition of sex to its ordinary meaning means that public boards could conceivably comprise of 50% men and 50% men with certificates, yet still lawfully meet the targets for female representation. Well, I think it's stupid to force boards of any businesses to have 50% representation. How about just letting them decide who they want on their board? Anyway, but I digress. Still, you could have a board of all men under the law based on this thing with the GRC. So anyway, FWS includes high-profile members such as famed Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling, who reportedly donated what would be the equivalent to more than $10,000 to the group's fight. Rowling has been very a vocal advocate for women and recently took to social media to share and shared a quote from O'Neill during the hearing. Gender identity, Aidan O'Neill told the court, is not a trump card against the rights of women, and the rights of women and lesbian women in particular are ignored by the Scottish government's position. Women's rights are human rights. Rowling's post read. A judgment of the case is not expected until well into the new year. So this nonsense is going on everywhere, and they're fighting over definitions and shit. And we're here to laugh about it once in a while. So let's call it a day. Let's see. By the way, just remind you that the Unburdened store, the place where you can get the the January 2025 Inauguration Day hat with the Unburdened by What Has Been. We have beanies, we have hats, we have visors, we have shirts and hoodies, and I think there's a sweatshirt in here somewhere. There's no sweatshirt. Anyway, so if you're interested, that helps the show when you purchase one of those. You just click the link and you can get in there. And I think that's it. I didn't open any other tabs today. I'll be damned. Also, the GoFundMe for Sonny Johnson's brother's family is in the links too. You can get the information there. It's just, if you're interested, you can go read that and help that family out, the two kids that he left and his wife. So that's it. Let's put the links in the chat. Give me 1 second. And there we go. All right, here are the links to today's show, that everything we did so far. Today's links. And I will also post those in the description of the video that subsequently generates after the show, so you can watch the replay. All right, that's it, guys. I got to go. I'll be back tomorrow for not FTG Friday. What am I doing Fridays? Friday Q&A and Free for All Friday. If you have any articles or videos or anything you want me to feature on the show tomorrow, send them to me via DM on X or email pdognight@gmail.com. All right, that's it. I got to go. Thanks. My name is P Dog Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.